There once was a boy who never spoke, not because he could not, but because he chose not to. He lived in a village high in the mountains, where the winds carried secrets and the clouds were close enough to touch. The villagers thought he was simple, sweet, but slow. He listened more than he acted, watched more than he moved, and so the world passed him by. But the boy was listening, not to voices, not to gossip or thunder or birdsong. He was listening for something deeper. Every morning he sat by the edge of the river, watching it slip between stones. Every evening he sat by the old bell tower that hadn't rung in years, its rope frayed with age. And in between, he wandered silently, observing the cracks in walls, the patterns in footsteps, the spaces between people's words. One day, everything changed. A traveler arrived from the south, cloaked in red, silk, and pride. He was a man of riddles, a master of questions, hired by kings and feared by scholars. He claimed to know every answer worth knowing. He set a challenge to the village. "Answer my riddle," he declared, "and I will leave behind gold. Fail, and I take your most precious heirloom." The villagers, eager but anxious, agreed. They had little gold, but one treasure, a stone tablet etched with the village's origin, said to have been written by the first monk who reached enlightenment. The traveler smiled, a little too confidently. He asked, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The crowd whispered, some laughed, others guessed wind, silence, heartbeat, breath. All were wrong. The traveler gave them 3 days. On the first day, the village panicked. They turned to books, to elders, even to the mountains for a sign, but no answer came. On the second day, they debated. What did the question mean? Was it a trick? A metaphor? Was it about emptiness? Was it about sound at all? On the third day, the boy stood. For the first time, he walked straight to the traveler. The crowd followed in stunned silence. He did not speak. He simply stood there in front of the man in red. Then, slowly, he raised one hand. Palm open, fingers relaxed, still, he moved nothing. He made no sound. But his eyes held the question and the answer. The traveler waited. He frowned, then he smiled, then he wept. He knelt before the boy and placed the bag of gold on the earth. "You heard it," he whispered. "You heard what no one else did." And with that, he left. The villagers were stunned. "What did he say?" they asked the boy. The boy only smiled. From that day on, people began to see differently. They listened not just to sounds, but to silences. They began to pause before reacting, to reflect before judging. The bell in the tower, though broken, began to mean something again, not for the sound it made, but for the space it held. And the boy, still quiet, still calm, became the wisest teacher they never heard. You see, as you journey through life, remember that the most profound truths often whisper rather than shout. In the quiet spaces between your thoughts, there lies wisdom waiting to be discovered. Let each moment of stillness remind you to listen deeply, not only to the world around you, but to the voice within that gently guides your path. In a world that clamors for your attention, may you always find the courage to embrace silence and discover the hidden power of a single thoughtful pause.